At the will reading, her parents gave her sister $8 million and told her to earn her own. Please stay with me as I tell my story. And please, do not forget to support our channel by subscribing to our channel, liking our videos, and sharing your loved ones. Your support means the world to us. Now to our story. The room was quiet after the lawyer finished reading. No one spoke. Emily smirked behind her glossy red nails, already scrolling through her phone. I didn't say a word. I just stared at the man behind the desk, then at my parents' photo on the wall. They had known exactly what they were doing when they wrote that will. Emily got $8 million. I got a line about the value of hard work. No money, no property, not even the car in the garage. The lawyer gave me a polite smile, like he'd just read out a birthday card. I'm sure this was difficult, he said. Yeah, difficult for me. Emily looked bored. Are we done? I have a nail appointment. My hands clenched in my lap. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood up and walked out. 3 years of my life gone. I dropped out of college to care for our dad when he got sick. I gave up my friends, my job offers, everything. Meanwhile, Emily was flying to Ibiza and buying designer bags on our parents' dime. She posted photos with captions like self-made while living rent-free. Now she was walking away with $8 million. And I was supposed to just accept it? Something didn't feel right. Mom had always been cold to me, sure. But Dad? He used to say, I know you're the strong one. He knew what I gave up. He knew Emily only showed up for birthdays and photo ops. So why would he cut me out? Unless he didn't. I started digging. Quietly. Carefully. Emily's social media was a goldmine. New apartment. New Range Rover. Tagged in posts with a man who looked suspiciously like our parents' estate attorney. I followed every link, saved every receipt. Then I started talking to people. Mom's old friend, who mentioned how Emily had been visiting constantly those last few months alone. A nurse who remembered overhearing Emily on the phone saying, she won't even know what's in the final draft. Something was off. I just needed proof. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I started with a whisper. A quiet comment here. A story dropped into the right ear there. A subtle mention to one of Emily's influencer friends that maybe, just maybe, she hadn't earned everything she claimed. People love gossip, especially when it's about the rich girl who always wins. She had no idea that I'd just played my first move. Let the game begin. They always called me too emotional. That was the excuse. That's why I couldn't be trusted with family decisions, why Emily was the responsible one, even when she forgot our dad's chemo appointments and crashed her car into a mailbox drunk. When I cried during our mom's funeral, Emily rolled her eyes. You always make things about you. She wore black Prada heels and didn't shed a single tear. Growing up, I was labeled dramatic. Emily was elegant. I was clingy. Emily was independent. They treated my empathy like it was a disease. But what they really meant was, Emily was easier to love because she didn't make them feel guilty. Now they were gone, and Emily had all the money. But I had something better, doubt. While going through our dad's things, I found an old file in the back of a desk drawer. It was a printed draft of a will dated 2 years before the final one. It listed me as the main heir. Me, not Emily. There were handwritten notes in our dad's scrawled writing. Lily sacrificed so much. I want to make this right. That draft never made it to court. I looked deeper, called the notary listed. They never signed that version. Then I found the updated medical power of attorney, giving Emily control over our dad's care and his legal decisions during the last 8 months of his life. It wasn't witnessed. The signature looked shaky. Too shaky. She'd forged it, and used that forged POA to override the original will. I didn't go to the police. Not yet. No legal case without stronger proof. Instead, I called a legal team who'd worked on probate fraud before, but I didn't ask them to challenge the will. I wanted to break her publicly. Emily had a weakness, one she didn't know I knew about. The married tech executive from Seattle she'd been sneaking off to visit every month. His wife followed me back on Instagram after I commented on one of Emily's vacation photos. Dumb move on her part. I knew exactly what to do. I made a new account, faceless, anonymous, one of those gossip-style profiles that love a scandal. I sent screenshots. A plane ticket. A photo of Emily in the background of a man's vacation selfie. And then I waited. A post went viral. Silicon Valley exec spotted with younger mistress on work trip. Is this the same man from his wife's anniversary post? Emily was in the background, laughing in a bikini. She had no idea where it came from, or that it had. Only just begun. Emily posted a video tour of her new condo the same day I paid my overdue rent. Marble counters, a skyline view, and a Tesla parked out front. The caption read, "Hard work pays off, nail polish medium skin tone money bag, #blessed, #luxury living." I didn't comment. I didn't even open the story. But I saved the post. While Emily flaunted handbags and brunches, I stayed quiet. I wasn't ready to move yet. Not until I had something that would stick. So I started looking for someone who could help. Not just any lawyer, but one who knew how these things worked behind the scenes. I found her in a quiet corner of a Reddit thread, a probate attorney known for taking on fraud cases and winning. She was blunt. "I'll help you, but only if you can give me more than gut feelings and a TikTok of your sister buying shoes. I need paper. I need proof." So I dug. Back at the house, going through old boxes my mom hadn't touched in years, I found a dusty flash drive buried under tax form. I almost didn't open it, but inside there were old emails, hundreds of them, between my mom and Emily, most during the last year of Dad's life. They were disturbing. They painted a version of me I didn't recognize. Mom writing things like, "She's so reactive, it's exhausting," and Lily would waste the money on therapy and God knows what else. But the worst one came 5 days before they finalized the new will. Emily wrote, "If we leave anything to Lily, she'll just cause drama. We both know how she gets when she's emotional." And Mom replied, "Just make sure Lily doesn't see this. I know how dramatic she gets. It's better this way." They weren't just cutting me out. They were making sure I couldn't even ask why. The betrayal snapped something in me. I used to think maybe I was being paranoid, that maybe Emily just got lucky or charmed them somehow. But this wasn't passive neglect. This was a deliberate erasure. I printed every email, made a timeline, highlighted patterns of manipulation. My lawyer called it strategically damning. I called it truth. The money didn't hurt as much anymore. Not like this. This was deeper, knowing my own mother chose the easier daughter. The prettier one. The one who smiled for pictures and never questioned anything. But I wasn't angry. Not anymore. I was focused. She bought a mansion. I bought a lawyer. Emily thought she'd never see me again. She thought I'd disappear, broke, bitter, and too ashamed to fight back. She was wrong. My great-aunt Ruth had quietly left me a small inheritance. Not much compared to the $8 million, but enough for a down payment. I didn't tell anyone, not even my closest friends. I waited until Emily posted the closing papers to her new mansion, a sleek white brick monstrosity with a marble fountain out front and a fake, "Dream Big" sign in the foyer. 3 weeks later, I bought the house directly next door. The look on her face when she saw me unloading boxes? Worth every cent. She didn't say anything, just stared, smiled like she wasn't rattled, and went back inside. I smiled too. Then I got to work. First, I made small talk with her housekeeper, Maria. I asked for a cup of sugar one day, complimented her garden the next. She was kind, older, talkative. Within a week, I knew more about Emily's schedule than her own assistant probably did. Mondays, Pilates. Tuesdays, facials. Thursdays, private chef. She hated loud noises, thunderstorms, and being left alone at night. I didn't do anything loud or illegal, just subtle things. A delivery man accidentally knocked at her door at 6 a.m. on a Sunday. The sprinklers in her front yard were mysteriously reprogrammed to spray the sidewalk during her 10 a.m. dog walk. Her Amazon packages got misdelivered to my place more than once. I'd walk them over with a sweet smile and a forced apology. She hated it, but I kept it friendly, until the night my dog got sick. Milo, my little rescue mutt, sweetest dog alive. He started vomiting after being outside in the yard. The vet said it looked like poison, something chemical. Deliberate. I knew it was her. But of course there was no proof. I confronted her once, just to see her reaction. Strange how things happen to people who move too close, huh? She smiled. Some of us don't like company. Then she shut the door in my face. That's when I stopped playing neighbor. I stopped being polite. No more little games or quiet jabs. She'd made it personal. She wanted to play cruel? I could play smarter. She thought she'd gotten rid of me years ago, that she'd buried me with a fake smile and a fake will. But I was right here, next door, watching her world, one crack at a time. And now I was done waiting. Emily had always been loud online. Her whole personality was luxury and hard work pays off. But after the inheritance, it got ridiculous. First-class flights every other week. Cartier bracelets stacked on both wrists. A new Hermes bag that cost more than my car. But her job? Lifestyle branding consultant, which translated meant vague invoices and sugar-coated scam. And I knew one thing. People like Emily love to flash money and forget to report it. I started small. I browsed through her old posts, pulled screenshots, and cross-referenced dates with her so-called job history. It didn't add up. Then I went deeper. On a private crypto forum, I found her username. She'd bragged about moving her earnings into an offshore wallet to avoid Uncle Sam stealing her sparkle. She'd even posted a picture, a blurred screenshot of a digital wallet with nearly 500,000 sitting untouched. So I did what any scorned daughter with a half-functioning laptop and years of resentment would do. I filed a tip with the IRS. I kept it clean and professional, A neat little PDF with screenshots, tagged transactions, usernames, and a helpful cover letter explaining who she was, how she'd acquired a suspicious amount of wealth in a suspicious amount of time, and how little of it was accounted for. I didn't sign my name. I didn't need to. Then, I went for her public image. There's a subreddit called r/Justice for Caregivers, a place for people who gave up their lives to take care of sick parents and got screwed for it. I posted my story there. No real names. Just the facts. Older daughter gives up career to care for sick parent. Younger daughter flies to Europe, posts bikini pics. Parents die. Will leaves all money to party sister. Evidence of a forged POA. And now, the hardworking younger daughter flaunts millions while the actual caregiver is left with nothing. The post exploded. Comments flooded in. Sue her. Name and shame. This sounds like fraud. One TikToker picked it up. Then another. Then someone found Emily's public Instagram and made the connection. By the end of the week, she was trending on Scammer Talk. And then came the best part. Emily posted a video crying in her Tesla, saying how she was being bullied by jealous people who don't understand what it's like to be successful. A week later, the IRS sent her a letter. She didn't post that one. But I knew. Because I'd watched the mailman deliver it. Emily's perfect little world was starting to crack. The audit shook her. But what hit harder was how quickly her friends scattered the moment things got messy. That's when I set my sights on her inner circle. Emily's college best friend, Tessa, was the kind of woman who posted skincare routines and mental health quotes, but never missed a chance to talk behind someone's back. I remembered her from family events. Fake laugh, eyes always scanning for someone more important. She and Emily had been thick as thieves in school, but time and money had made their bond thinner. I reached out casually. Hey, I know we were never close, but I'm trying to rebuild some stuff after losing my parents. Thought maybe we could grab coffee. Tessa responded in 5 minutes. We met at a cafe downtown. I came in soft, gentle, not a hint of revenge in my voice. I told her I was just trying to make sense of everything, trying to move on. She ate it up, said Emily had been distant lately, that the drama was stressing her out, that maybe it was karma. So I dropped a few breadcrumbs, just enough to pique her interest. You know, I always wondered if Emily told anyone about what she did to Megan in college. Tessa leaned forward. Wait, what did she do to Megan? So I told her how Emily had spread a fake cheating rumor to steal Megan's boyfriend, how she'd hacked into someone's email to get a better internship, how she bullied a girl into transferring schools and bragged about it afterward like it was a power move. I let those stories simmer. A few days later, Tessa started texting me screenshots, old photos, DMs. Then she tweeted, "Crazy how the internet's just now catching on to the kind of person Emily has always been. Been quiet for years, but let's talk." Thread. 20 tweets. Every awful story. Every lie. Every name. It went viral in 2 hours. TikTok picked it up. Again, Emily tried to clap back. Posted a crying video saying Tessa was jealous and trying to cancel strong women. But this time, people weren't buying it. Her brand deals pulled out. A big real estate firm she'd just signed with quietly removed her from their luxury lifestyle ambassador page. She posted less. Liked fewer comments. And for the first time since the will reading, she looked cornered. They took my future. Left me with nothing. But I took her friends, her reputation. And now all she had was money. And no one to spend it with. Emily called herself an influencer now. Said it with pride, like she'd built something from scratch. In reality, she built her image with inheritance money and fake humility. Every post was a lie wrapped in filters and overpriced skincare. So I used her favorite weapon, social media, against her. I started small. I created 2 fake accounts. One for Reddit, one for Instagram. I didn't use my name. Didn't post my face. I shared screenshots, quotes, videos. Clipped her TikToks next to old posts where she claimed she worked 2 jobs in college, while actually partying in Cabo. Then I bought ad space. Nothing huge, just a few $100s to target her own followers. Instagram lets you get specific. I made sure the people seeing the posts were the same ones who followed her for inspiration. It worked fast. Comments turned from hearts to question marks. Wait, is this true? Didn't she say her dad was abusive? Why does that post say otherwise? Lying about being self-made? I'm out. Next, I found a few small creators who made tea videos. Gossip accounts. People hungry for content. I messaged them anonymously with a bundle of files and said, I think your audience might want to know who Emily really is. They did. Stitch after stitch rolled out. Influencers reading her captions and laughing. Pulling up receipts. Comparing timelines. Emily tried to respond, of course. She posted a long Notes app message on Instagram saying she was being smeared by a jealous family member and haters who hate to see women win. She threatened legal action. But that only made it worse. The Streisand effect kicked in hard. Every attempt she made to silence the truth only made more people look. Search her name now, and it's not her sponsored skincare routine that comes up. It's reaction videos, Reddit threads, and TikToks titled The Downfall of Emily, the Fake Influencer. Brands started dropping her. Quietly at first, posts disappeared, logos removed. Then one brand publicly commented, "We no longer work with Emily due to recent revelations and do not condone dishonest behavior." That one stung. I know because she deleted her entire profile for 2 days. She bragged about influencing people, about building her empire. So I influenced her downfall, one ad and stitch at a time. She wanted to be famous. Now she is. Emily always thought money would protect her. She believed she could outbuy any rumor, outpost any scandal, and outrun the past. But everything was catching up to her. Her boyfriend, the finance guy with the white teeth and perfect jawline, broke up with her in the most Emily way possible, over text. "I need to distance myself from this kind of negativity. Hope you heal." He'd seen the videos, the threads, the side-by-side comparisons of her lies and my receipts. His company had a reputation to keep, and Emily was becoming a liability. Meanwhile, her lawyer fees kept stacking up. The IRS audit turned into a full investigation. The real estate deal she was banking on fell through, and one of her ex-friends threatened to sue her over defamation. Her brand was tanking, so was her bank account, and I still wasn't done. I waited for the perfect moment. Then I sent her a box. No return address. Inside was a manila folder containing a printed copy of Dad's first will, the one where I was the main heir. I'd found it tucked away in a locked filing cabinet, saved like a secret. Along with the will was a single handwritten note. This was what he wanted. You made sure it never happened. So did Mom. Nothing more. No threats. No name. Just truth. I knew she'd lose it. I knew she'd storm into her group chats and cry about someone stalking her. But what I didn't expect was for someone in her circle, maybe one of the few who still tolerated her, to leak it online. A photo of the note hit Twitter first, then Instagram, then Reddit. It was posted with the caption, "You don't inherit peace when you steal it." People lost their minds. The old will became the final nail in her image's coffin. Every sympathy card she tried to play collapsed under the weight of that paper. She had lied. She had schemed. And the internet knew it now. That week, she turned off all her comments. Then she went completely silent. No posts. No stories. Just gone. She thought she inherited peace. She thought she won. But peace doesn't come from silencing people. And regret doesn't come all at once. It shows up piece by piece. A breakup. A lawsuit. An anonymous box. A name that stops being admired and starts being Googled next to words like fraud, fake, and forge. She regretted every penny. And I made sure of it. The podcast was called The Family Fallout, hosted by a woman who built her platform on stories most people are too scared to tell. When she invited me on, I hesitated. I didn't want fame. I didn't want clout. But I wanted the truth to hurt. Not just mine. Everyone's. We didn't use real names. I called her my sister. Our parents were just the parents. But anyone who'd been following the story online knew exactly who I was talking about. I didn't speak like a victim. I spoke like someone who finally had nothing left to lose. I told them about leaving college to care for my dad, while my sister lived her best life in it. I talked about spending nights on the floor of a hospital room while she FaceTimed from nuts. I talked about the will reading, about getting a few words of love while she walked away with millions. I didn't even raise my voice. I just told the truth. Slowly, clearly. Then I talked about what happens when the good kid is pushed too far. About how people like my sister always win, until they don't. About how revenge doesn't always look like poison or lawsuits. Sometimes it's just persistence. Watching, listening, waiting. People think revenge is about getting even, I said. But sometimes it's about making sure the lie doesn't get the final word. Sometimes revenge isn't a choice. It's the only way to breathe again. The clip went viral before the episode even finished airing. People clipped that line over and over. But the part that stuck the most came at the very end. The host leaned in and asked, "So, did you ever sue her?" I smiled, just a little, and said, "No, I never sued her. The public did that for me." That moment spread like wildfire. TikToks, Reels, even articles quoting it. Emily didn't respond. She couldn't. Her image was shattered. Lawsuits were piling up. The audit hadn't gone away. Her sponsors were long gone. Her name was now synonymous with deceit. And me? I didn't gain a following. I didn't try to. I just went home, fed Milo, closed the laptop, because I didn't want the money anymore. I wanted the world to know what she did. I wanted the lies to sting when she saw them reflected back. And they did. She kept the inheritance. I kept the truth. I was never supposed to win. Not in their eyes. I was the quiet one, the caregiver, the girl who stayed home while everyone else moved on. They thought I'd stay broken, that I'd fade into the background, forgettable and obedient. But instead, I built something. After the podcast went viral, people started reaching out. Nurses, daughters, sons, even strangers who gave up everything to take care of sick parents and got nothing in return. They didn't want revenge. They just wanted someone to listen. So I built a space for them. It started small, a website, some resources, a few videos. But within months, it grew. I founded a nonprofit to help unpaid caregivers, with legal help, therapy support, and the kind of emotional validation I never got. We called it Silent Hands. Donations started pouring in. So did stories. Hundreds of them. People who were tired of being invisible. A publisher reached out after seeing the podcast. They offered me a book deal. Not just about what happened to me, but about how people like us survive in silence. I didn't even think twice. Then came the national interview. Prime time. Bright lights. A room full of cameras. I didn't cry. I spoke calmly. I said, "The world doesn't know how many lives are held together by quiet sacrifice." I didn't burn bridges. I just built my own. The day after the interview aired, I got a call from a small-town bank. The manager said they'd found something connected to my father's name. A safe deposit box, unopened for years. I drove 6 hours to get there. Inside was a sealed envelope with my name on it, written in Dad's handwriting. The letter was short. "Lily, I wanted you to have it all. I just didn't know how to fight your mother. I'm sorry for not being stronger. I hope one day you'll forgive me. Love, Dad." Folded inside was a key and a code to a trust account he had opened secretly months before he passed. I logged in at the desk with shaking hand. The screen loaded. Balance: $4,783,112.89. I didn't cry. I didn't laugh. I just closed the laptop and whispered, "Thank you." Emily had won the spotlight, the house, the headline, for a little while. But I built an empire. One made of truth and help, and something that would last far beyond a luxury condo or viral fame. She thought I'd stay broken, but I was just getting started.